What's up? This is Devin with the Cage Rage Podcast, and this is a CRP Minute. If you have not liked the Cage Rage Podcast on Facebook and YouTube, please go and find our page, and please do so. If you like this content, give it a like, give it a share. Going to continue to further cover and preview UFC 238 at this moment, and we're going to talk about what is probably the most overlooked fight on the card. That's actually the co-main event of the evening, is the women's flyweight title fight between champion Valentina Shevchenko defending her belt against Jessica Eye. And when we look at this fight, we got one woman, Valentina Shevchenko, probably at this point out of the champions in the UFC. You've got Andrade down at 115, you've got Valentina at 125, and Amanda Nunes holding two belts at 135 and 145. She's probably got the biggest control over her division right now, just basically due to a lack of any serious contender emerging at this moment, which is why Jessica Eye has been brought in. This is a newly formed division. It's only been around a little over a year. We had her win the flyweight belt in an inaugural title fight with Joanna Jędrzejczyk, former UFC strawweight 115 champion, just earlier this year. And we've got Jessica Eye, who's coming into this fight. And if it's happened before, I stand corrected, but I think this might be the first time that we have a title contender who actually has a losing record inside the octagon. Jessica Eye actually began her UFC career back in UFC 166, where she got a no contest against Sarah Kaufman. She proceeded to go 1-5, and this was at the bantamweight division at 135 pounds. And since then has pulled together a 3-fight win streak and in the newly formed weight class, and has earned herself now a title fight at this division. Valentina Shevchenko, a very stellar UFC record. Her only two losses inside the octagon have been her two decision losses up at 135 pounds to the women's bantamweight and featherweight champion Amanda Nunes. So she's probably the number 2 ranked woman pound for pound on the planet at the moment. She's a dominating champion when we look at these rankings. Jessica Eye is coming in as the number 1 contender in this division. And underneath her, there's really no huge names. Joanna's not going to be competing against Valentina anytime soon. Liz Carmouche actually technically does hold a win over Valentina earlier in their career before either one of them were in the UFC. But right now, this is a division that's in its development stages. We're getting a very lopsided title fight. I believe that Valentina is a plus 1,600 favorite, which makes her one of the biggest favorites of the sports scene in a title fight in recent memory. So it's even bigger than John Jones over Anthony Smith. So this is a lopsided matchup. It would be a Cinderella story of Jessica Eye, a woman that is 4-5 officially in her UFC tenure, is able to drop a weight class and win such a lopsided fight. It's probably not going to happen, but stay tuned. We'll cover this more. Valentina Shevchenko with her first title defense this Saturday in the co-main event at UFC 238 in Chicago, Illinois. Stay tuned to the CRP for further breakdowns.